Hello and welcome to Upload,
a podcast by those who upload for those who want to.
or who already do.
And anyone else for that matter.
My name is Lionheart and I've been creating content for over a decade.
And my name's Midgeman and I've been trying to create content for almost a decade.
Together with some of our friends and fellow content creators, we're going to be exploring the great big world of content creation.
We'll be looking into the serious topics that face content creators today.
Because if someone said that to me like in person, or said that kind of stuff to me, you know, IRL, I wouldn't take it. So why would I take it like online? Why would I hide aspects of sort of my identity?
As well as some less serious topics.
I've been blindsided by the fact that one of your old live streams is called Suck My Missile for like the last
Sorry,
10
what?
minutes.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Upload.
Hello and welcome to Upload, the podcast for those who upload, those who want to, and anyone else for that matter. My name is Midgeman.
And I'm Lionheart.
And before we get on with today, and before I can get this giggle out, please remember to turn on any auto downloaders. Remember to like, rate, do whatever you can to support the podcast. And if you want to get in touch, you can do so via our comment section, our Discord, or via our email, hello@uploadpodcast.co.uk. Right. I'm having a morning today, ladies and gentlemen. But there's been some real interesting updates in the world of content creation at the time of our recording, which is probably well and truly past by the time this goes out, that I think we should cover first, which was, oh no, there's an adpocalypse, when really there wasn't. So for some context, it was thought quite a subsect of Twitch users were saying that their ad rates had vastly dropped, and there was rumor mills going that various advertisers had pulled out of Twitch, and everyone was going, oh no, is this the new adpocalypse? If you don't know what the adpocalypse is, I think we've mentioned it on the podcast before, but about 2017, a load of advertisers pulled out of YouTube, causing a worldwide cut on creator ad revenue. This also coincided with the YouTube policy changes about MCNs, and basically a lot of money that was going to creators suddenly wasn't. For example, at that time, I went from earning about $300 a month on YouTube to about 30 because I was, one, the ad rates changed, and two, I was kicked from my MCN. So everyone got a little bit nervous. That being said, it hasn't happened. And it would be interesting to kind of see why. And the thing that I wanted to point out, so this time around, it was tied to political broadcasters. Right now we're in a time of very big political turmoil and political discourse. No matter what side you're on, there is a lot being thrown about. And naturally, some advertisers don't want their products being associated with that, which is kind of well within their right, especially as we're heading into the Christmas period or the holiday period. For those of you who are non-denominational or non-Christian, it's a point of big advertisement spend, and advertisers don't necessarily want to be associated with political discourse right now.
They want maximum value from their stuff, and they don't want it wasted or aligned with anyone that's perhaps got a controversial view or something that doesn't align with their brand values, or just something that they feel is going to be too disconnected from their general message that they're trying to get across with their ad stuff. And some people might think, well, you know, how can they do that if they're choosing to work with Twitch? Don't they know that their ads are going to go everywhere? You know, to a degree, they're buying ad space, and then it's up to Twitch to use their algorithms and metrics and everything else to try and provide those ads to the most suitable user. What that doesn't take into account is what advertisers, and same thing happens on YouTube, is why certain advertisers get upset, is that when they have no control over the creator whose channel it goes on as such, like Twitch will try and align it to, you know, if it's an ad that they know should target males between 18 and 25, it will focus on firing those ads at channels that have a high viewership in that category. However, that doesn't take into account if a lot of those streamers in that category also happen to have very controversial views or something like that doesn't align with the brand. That's when you then get brands pushing back saying, yeah, thank you for finding the right, you know, viewer demographic to display the ads to, but we don't like the fact that our ads are being shown to these viewers via this channel. You know, it's kind of like if you I don't know, have an ad about renewable reforestation or something like that, and you put a massive wooden sign up over some felled trees, you're kind of getting a conflicted message there. Poor analogy, but I kind of went with it. I was like, I've got to find a way out of this. I'm going to keep paddling through. It's finding a suitable host to display the ad through, which the advertisers have no say in. They are just buying. They're saying, I mean, not even like space as such. They're probably saying, hey, we want this ad run for 1,000 hours across your channels to this demographic. There probably are more filters and systems and requests that they can put in. There are also probably times where they can say, hey, we exclusively want to work with these 10 creators, run this ad just on their channels. Largely, you're just going, here's our ad, here's our ad script or whatever. Here's what we're looking for. We want 1,000 hours of spend. Go.
The thing that I noticed the most in the whole discourse here was a lot of people saying, how did Twitch and how did Dan Clancy not learn from YouTube? And I think that's wrong, because I think they did, because they've only affected the ad revenue on the politics category. Whereas on YouTube,
it was site-wide.
It hit the entire platform site-wide because of the amount of fallout. Now, obviously, I think this is slightly, in terms of the news cycle, a lower impact situation. It's not as bad as the PewDiePie incident, which went global. It's certainly not great. And I'm trying to say all of this without talking about the actual drama that kind of caused all of this. It's not our place to get into this. We're more about the stats and stuff.
I agree with you, though, when you say actually, I think Twitch did get it right here.
I think so too. Like, I think the fastest and most surefire way to only target the areas that were causing the most issues for their advertisers was to turn off a category for some of those advertisers.
Well, I mean, what happened with YouTube was that advertisers withdrew, right? As far as I'm aware, no advertisers have actually said they are withdrawing from Twitch.
A few threatened to, apparently, from sources.
So what Twitch have, I think, cleverly done is that they've gone, right, well, the easiest way for us to bundle this up, and this is probably actually something where Twitch maybe has a slightly better edge, their category system over YouTube, perhaps. I mean, YouTube does have it with tags and assignment and AI reading of which category it should go into, but I actually think in this regard, Twitch, which is really weird to say, Twitch has, I think, the advantage because of how they have dealt with the situation, or how they can deal with it. Because they'll obviously go to the advertiser and say, "Yeah, we get you're angry. We're really upset this appeared here." Right. Easy fix is that because these are people specifically talking and discussing this within the politics category, we will tell your ads not to run on any channels that have that tag on it. Now, that's also a really easy way to get around it as a creator, but largely you're only shooting yourself here in the foot if you go, I still want to talk about these controversial things that I know is going to have an impact on my ad revenue. This is, I feel like, kind of Twitch's way of going, stop talking about it. This is what we've done to the category. If you do it outside of that category, we'll probably start taking, we'll start banning you because you'll be doing stuff out of category, which obviously, that's not a hard and fast rule of like, you must stream in this category for this specific thing.
Well, no, they have a thing in the TOS where they can reserve the right to remove your content if you're streaming in the incorrect category.
But I think most people think like, oh, am I going to get told off for not switching to just chatting when I was just in downtime between games? No, like within reason. But I think it's like, if they can see that you are purposely but again, I don't think there's any incentive for creators, even those that were involved in the drama, to be like, right, I'm going to keep on going outside of the politics category because I really want to inflict hurt to because realistically, they're only going to hurt their own ad revenue. Largely, like Twitch is fine from this because, again, I feel they've got that fairly reasonable response to it, which is say, right, if what we're doing at the moment is we are reducing the number of ads shown in the politics channel because it is a very sensitive time globally, so we are going to lessen the number of ads that get run. We've seen stuff like this happen on Facebook and X, Twitter, over the years. Obviously not recently, because all have actually started saying they're going to let whatever play out and happen. Facebook to a point, but X is basically a free-for-all at the moment. Come join us over on Bluesky, guys. Hey, it's karma. I mean, I'm still using Twitter, X, because
I need to make an upload podcast, Bluesky, don't I?
it's still a useful way to connect, and it's still where the vast majority of people that I want to and need to connect are. But for an additional supportive site and more calmer, like a 2015 Twitter, come to Bluesky. It's rather lovely, actually. It's just, and the thing is, though, I know some people, their critiques of that is like, oh, you're just putting yourself in another bubble. It's like, well, okay, even if we are putting ourselves in a happy bubble, you should be allowed to put yourself in a happy bubble if you want to. You should, in kind of, I don't know, general bit of life advice, you don't have to stay around negative thoughts or negative experiences in life. You know, I know it's sometimes hard, and obviously this is not a blanket statement that's going to apply to every situation, but sometimes you just need to take those steps to walk away from those negative forces in life. And okay, sometimes that's not possible. But in this case, leaving Twitter or X and going over to a much calmer, more positive site is something you can very much do. So for your own headspace, if you still want to stay connected, because I think a lot of people, the reason why we don't leave Twitter, X, because, and we haven't done, is because there hasn't been a viable alternative. And I don't know, maybe Bluesky won't be the full viable alternative, but right now it's getting enough users over, and it's
20 million and counting.
It's growing at the right rate, and it's certainly within the content creator gaming space. Most of the names have gone there that you want there.
It's got really good growth algorithm right now as a creator. Like my main worry was Twitter as an outreach source for me always looked good because I have over 1,000 followers there, which is it was always like the sort of similar to YouTube subscribers.
Mine looks very good because I went through the era of Gleam giveaways early on in my career, which one of the entries for like +2 entries was follow me on Twitter, which is terrible for Twitter, but it looks great for sponsors reaching out or partnerships, because they go, this guy's got 10,000 followers. That's insane. And I'm like,
but I will say, I've got 1,200 on Twitter. I'm already at 470 on Bluesky. The growth algorithm is so good.
I've noticed there's a lot of really good organic, and just because I've done minimal posting on Bluesky, and I am getting probably 20-30 new people over the last 3 or 4 days, just constantly going through. It really is just the good timeline of Twitter, basically. It's what
if Twitter actually lived?
They had some efficiencies. They did have to cut some staff and make themselves more efficient. I don't agree with pretty much anything Elon Musk has done, and I don't necessarily agree with the way he's done it, but there was a lot of bloat at Twitter. There's a lot of bloat in a lot of tech companies these days. And yes, it sucks to lose your job or to be fired or for the position to go. But from that perspective, going in, and from business perspective, going in and gutting a lot of departments, and some of them were overly gutted, like getting rid of most of your engineering team and then being like, why are servers struggling to run? Well, you got rid of half the staff that were managing them. So, but I don't think you necessarily maybe need 100, marketing associates, whatever. And that, in that regard, that's what Twitter needed, but it didn't need the rest of it.
You also didn't need, for example, what I think is causing the current, the second wave. There was a big Exodus wave a month and a half ago. There was another one essentially last week because X had this thing where they were like, oh, Grok will now learn off of everyone's things, but you can turn it off in your settings. They removed the ability to turn it off in the settings. It's now part of X's TOS that if you're on the platform, we're training our AI on your stuff. And that has actually made an exodus from brands, which is a really key
they don't like
thing. That will always be the thing this is why X has survived so long, is because brands have stayed. And because the big major brands are still there, it means that everyone's got to stay there because, again, for example, it's the only way to reach out to YouTube support in an efficient manner.
How is it 2024 and that is still the main portal of support? YouTube!
I know, but it's the thing that's keeping X alive. However, with the threat of people's IPs going, oh, they could steal key art for our games, or they could essentially, learn from.
Scrape through all of, because it only needs a little bits and it can start piecing together stuff. Because AI is intelligent. It only needs to scrape through the accounts of, some of the employees at a company, and it can probably start piecing together little bits. I almost wonder if that sort of thing will eventually make its way into like the trading sphere, of using AI to search for tips on trades, because you'll get.
Oh, it definitely already has.
I mean, already does to a degree, but I think like that's surely a big future point of it. You literally go to your AI and you go, right, what are the tips today? But because it will combine all the reports, all the news stories about stuff. I am no Forex trader, as you can probably tell, but I would imagine, say, if it's not already like that, and even if it is, the AI for that sort of sector is only going to probably get more and more attractive, because any way that you can spend less time having to research and more time just making trades, surely for traders is just going to be huge. I love the idea of it, but I have no comprehension, because I know what it would take, I think, to do it. And it would take all of my day. I would be like, right, guys, this is the end of me as a content creator. I'm going fully into trading. See you guys in a year, where I'm either a shadow of my former self or I'm just sat on a big pile of money. But I mean, some documentaries and stuff I've seen.
Lionheart X212.
Yeah. What's my binary code for like made of money. But some of the stuff I've seen, I mean, it is a full on, like, you start when the market's open and you go to bed well after they've closed, because you're researching for the next, you're checking everything. It's mad. I know there's also all these ads about you only need to spend 2 minutes a day managing your trades, and then boom, you've made millions. And it's like, yes, and you've also lost millions and lost your house and everything else.
Please do not take financial advice from us.
No.
But either way, in the roundabout way, it's caused another exodus, and actual brands are going to Bluesky now, which is promising for a site and for a social media platform. Once brands start adopting your platform, that tends to be the moment, because people will follow those brands for the outreach, for the content that they're putting out. Bigger creators will start going because they go, oh, it's almost like the validation process. It's one thing to have a user base, but in the text format, social medias, to have a brand go there is always a good thing, generally.
Yeah. I'm trying to achieve posting parity now. Whatever I put on Twitter, it's a copy paste, put it on Bluesky at the same time or just after.
I'm trying not to post on X as much as possible now. I'm trying to train myself to go over to Bluesky more, and I'm just loving some of the features. Like the ability to build starter packs, is really cool. For those of you who don't know, basically each person can make up to 3 starter packs. It's a list of up to 150 accounts that you essentially recommend, and you can associate feeds with them. People can click on them and just follow everyone on that list, or follow the feeds of those people. And so I've made one for history and strategy video game content creators.
I've checked that out and gone through and followed a few people. I was like, aha, I found them. There we go.
So I'm slowly putting that together. If you are a history and strategy game video creator or streamer, please let me know and I'll add you to the list. Just comment below the thread. It's on my Bluesky, at midgeman.tv. The fact that you can assign it to your web domain as well, in terms of the name, is also really cool. I've actually been talking internally. I don't know if this is actually going to get taken up, but internally, when Paradox actually moves some of their accounts to Bluesky, but Hearts of Iron is currently the first brand to go over to Bluesky. So I'm talking with my community manager of, okay, as and when, if our developers come over, we can have starter pack being active roster of Hearts of Iron developers and a Hearts of Iron community team to follow. And then on Paradox, they can have, here's all of our game brands. If Hooded Horse go over, they can have a starter pack of follow all of our games. In the gaming sphere alone, these features are almost revolutionary for marketing, PR companies, etc., to make sure that the right people get followed. And you have the right outreach for your brands. There's a lot there for brands, which I think is, again, it's just going to help it in the long run.
I'm looking forward to the wave of brands moving across that when they realize that other people have been sneaking, gone in there and registered the name first. because I think someone's done that with NZXT, and I was just like, because I was checking to like tag a few sponsors on there the other day, and I was like, oh, there's just this random guy called Bob or something like that.
Again, because you can tie it to your domain, as long as that brand owns their website, like
they'll kick them off. Yeah.
Well, it'll be a thing if you can't. They'll just be, instead of being at Bluesky, they'll be nzxt.com.
Yeah, true. But then wouldn't that be confusing, because you'd have one as at nzxt and then .com, and one as at nzxt.bluesky.social.
So we actually have that right now with Hearts of Iron. There was an account that someone had made up as a parody.
Assume at some point it's going to be a sort of a slow process, but they'll be like, yeah, you need to move because of branded account.
So it's one of those things of we as a brand have reached out to that account and going, can you add parody somewhere onto your profile? We don't care about the name because we obviously got our website and stuff.
Because you always hear these stories of people like back in the early days of Twitter and stuff, like selling I had Coca-Cola and I sold it to, or people try and did it, right?
It happened to me. Yeah, I was never Midgeman on X for many years. There was an account with 20 followers that was privated that managed to sneak in there and get it. And I spoke to the team, and they're like, it's still technically an active account. It's just not posting, it's liking things. And then it went on. And then finally 1 year, I think it was like year 6 of content creation. I don't remember either way. I looked, I checked again, and they had unprivated the account. So I DM'd them. I was like, hey, can I have this at? This is my online handle. It has been forever. I've got a brand. It's my brand, like sort of thing. Would you be okay to change your brand? And they went, oh, absolutely. And I was like, faith in humanity restored. Thank you. And I finally got the at Midgeman, and it was, instead of being at Midgeman Games 1, which was what I was.
One of my goals that I'd honestly like to achieve is to get the Lionheart YouTube account. It's a channel that had 2 videos uploaded to 18 years ago, and that's it. And I desperately would love to be able to drop the X10, or even if I kept it in my branding, but I'd love for, youtube.com/Lionheart to be my channel. I know I'm not like the predominant Lionheart, because there's lots of Lionheart brands and companies and stuff out there. In fact, I found out that my company, Lionheart Productions Limited, is like the 3rd one with that name in the UK. That there has been. It's the only active one now.
Of any nation to have Lionheart Productions Limited, it's the UK.
It's gonna be the UK. So mine's the only one active right now, which is why I can register that name. But there's been multiple ones over the years. So I'm glad that those ones, in the nicest way possible, I'm glad those ones failed or were dissolved. Because otherwise I would have thought of, I don't know what else I would have thought of Lionheart. Lionheart Productions just felt right. Probably would have been Lionheart X10 Productions, to be fair, but I'm trying ever so slightly to kind of transition to just drop the X10 and have it as Lionheart. I think I tried getting Lionheart on Bluesky and it wouldn't let me. I don't know why. I couldn't seem to find one with it, but it got a bit weird. And then it did this weird thing where it was like account name not verified or something. I was like, it has been verified, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I went through the settings because I was like, I wonder if I can change mine. I wonder if who's got Lionheart. Maybe there is another account with it.
I'm quickly going to go on GoDaddy. I'm going on GoDaddy right now.
I want to see who's got.
See what you can get for Lionheart.
I mean, I've got lionheartx10.co.uk.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what you can get as just Lionheart.
Which I thought ages ago. I hadn't checked it for it because I haven't used the domain for a while. It used to host a blog years and years ago, like early 2012, I think. Used to have like a little forum on there that built in WordPress or something. But I've got the domain. I keep it registered because all my Gmail goes through that basically. And my brother's a web developer called Harry. I went on to lionheartx10.co.uk the other day and it said Harry Styles coming soon. I was like, have I been hacked by Harry, like someone making a Harry Styles fan site? But no, I messaged him and he's like, no, Harry. And then it's meant to be separate Styles, his styling. And I was like, put a comma in there, man, because I was like, what in the One Direction fan sites is going on here? But yeah, no, he's literally put like placeholder coming soon. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I was like, because I was like logging into my admin panel going like, I still have the domain name. I've still got all that. That's all mine. It's not been hacked. Someone's not like taken it over. I was like, huh. Okay, fine. Then he was like, yeah, no, that's like, he was like, it's placeholder I threw up like 5 years ago and I haven't thought about it until we decided to do something with the website. But seeing as all your email is run through it right now, like it's just up, but that's it. Really should just have a redirection. Like I think it says go to www.youtube.com/Lionheart soon to be /Lionheart.
Well, so what you need to do is make a Dora. You make a Dorus and link it as the domain for the Dorus.
I need to make a Dorus. I do.
Need to sit down and do that at some point.
It's on the long list of things on the thing, but it's not on the list of having to cable manage anymore. That's done.
No, that's very true.
Like the thing is, people probably look at this going like, your office just literally seems to get more and more messy. And I've got like a sheet down there that I had over everything yesterday when the AC got put in. I've got the wave panels there.
Yeah, because you've got AC now.
Oh, it got a bit cold about. Well, no, it didn't get a bit cold, but like it was dropping a little bit. So I was like, I'll just pop it back on. Because I can control it via the because it's a Samsung. It's through the Smart Things app, so I've got it all through there. Has my camera always been mirrored on here? I've just realized, like, have I always been the other way around?
I mean, I'm not reading you. I can read.
You're not
Twitch.
reading mirror.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can read that.
Yeah, I could.
On
read
my
that.
screen, it's mirrored to me.
Oh, that's weird. Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm seeing something different to what you're
Help,
seeing.
Nikki! I don't know what's happening in the edit.
I just tried to open my phone to check something, and I got a Sheen ad apparently, and it was very loud.
Also, the other day, I thought I'd muted myself, and I took a phone call. I didn't say anything like private information, but
I was watching.
Yeah. I don't think I was just talking to like the estate agent or the solicitor, and I was like, so if you needed to know the name of my solicitor, there you go.
Oh no, I thought it was no. You did it the other week as well with your wife, and you were giving directions. As like,
Oh yeah, and I was like, go that way. And I was like, I thankfully didn't specify. Yeah, because I pressed the button and it looked like it muted, but it was still going through somehow. I was like, what?
I think it was something with the routing anyway. Because we worked out because you were on my lapel mics that you borrowed.
Oh yeah, and I muted it on the Go XLR or something, and not on. Oh no, I pressed the button, didn't I? But it didn't.
But we worked out that because you were doing it via the headphone jack, that's for monitoring. It didn't mute, so it was always hit the live mic.
Oh yeah, so it doesn't do any. Yeah, it doesn't have a control. So I have to do it on OBS. Yeah.
Yeah, or you had to do it on the little box properly. Either way, it was just like, I think the only person in the audience that knew where you were talking about was probably me. Which is fine, because I have your address.
Yeah, because I already know where you live.
Just I know where you live.
Oh God! Oh, hang on.
I don't know if this is set up to anything.
Oh, it is. Hello.
Is it? Am I like deep, sexy sounds of the South?
It's
Radio voice, or is it just a bit demonic?
Is it
the demon one?
It's more like Monty Python. It was more Monty Python the Holy Grail God.
Oh, right. Nice. I am God.
There we go.
Oh, we've devolved.
Yeah, you could tell we're heading to an end of a season.
Yeah, no, this is that's actually, I think that's a good topic for us to move on to now. This is the second to last episode of the season. If this comes out in the right order, like this is the second to last recording session of the season. The last one obviously is going to be in person, which is going to be a whole weirdness. But
well, why are we making it weird?
It's, I mean, because our energy is going to be in the same room for once. And I might also, it might not just be us. The edit team have also shown interest of also being there to live record it and stuff. So it might be the full upload
Have the whole
gang.
team.
Yes, let's reflect slightly on this season and all of this. Yeah, let's do a little
Cue the montage.
It's
just going to be all our failed intros, isn't it?
God. That I legitimately, there is going to be in between season 1 and 2. We are going to put out the blooper reel is going to be appearing. Don't worry.
So many bloopers.
There's so many bloopers.
I feel like we need to have as well, like Nikki and Dan's, like, I don't know, top rage moments of when they've like edited something or have to work on it and they're like, these idiots, they keep going.
So I know what Nikki will probably say, and it's something that actually never even. So in one of the editor episodes,
Probably something I said.
No, it was on one of the editor episodes. I was like, right, do we mind? Because I was conscious of Dan's background slightly, and I didn't know. So I was just like, okay, let's just blur his background a little bit more, and cut in a bit more. Nikki sat down, she did loads of edits, really fast turnaround, so I got it all ready, and then they didn't render out, and we didn't notice until a week after the episode had been released that it was the version before that got rendered up, apparently, in some way.
Oh, no.
So she did loads of extra work, and nobody ever saw it, and it was hilarious because there was an edit to me and onto Dan's thing of just blowing our backgrounds a little bit more, or cutting in on my side, because at the time, because I have a collection of mess right here, right now on my side there, but I don't know if it's in shot, but either way, I had my AC unit on there and like a feather duster, and my window was open enough that the feather duster randomly blew off mid-podcast at one point, and we were all like,
Tell me you're a British content creator without telling me. I have a story to tell you about my feather duster.
But anyway, it was like cutting around the distractions. Either way, I think that will probably be her like most hated.
It's been a really fun learning experience. I think actually it might be fun if we are getting the editors in as well. It might be fun to kind of like just have like a quick like couple of minute retrospective from each of us in that final episode of just like things that we've learned this season on Upload. Oh, it feels so official talking like this season on Upload. Ooh, that's real fancy.
I'm gonna just be like honest though for a moment. I was not expecting this podcast to be this hard to grow.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Like the whole podcast space has been an absolute learning curve for me. And there's stuff that we can do better and do differently. Next season, I think I'm going to like, even before next season, I might go through and redo like all of our thumbnails. I know I haven't always been on it on the SEO, but then it dawned on me quite quickly of like doing tags and stuff that I was like, I don't actually know what to tag right now. I'm so used to like working in the gaming sphere that to be in like the entertainment sphere, it's just a whole new kettle of fish in terms of growth and algorithm that I'm still learning. And it's like, I'm slightly secondhand embarrassed that it's like, we're talking like we're proficient content creators and we can't get our podcast seen, which is one thing. But it's also one of those things of, I kind of like that at the same time, because
hopefully this can show the journey of how eventually to grow a podcast, in a time where everyone and their mum is making a podcast. To be fair, let's be honest. Someone said to me the other day, starting a podcast for blokes is now kind of like the new midlife crisis, almost, of like going and buying a motorbike or something. It's starting a podcast, and I was like, I think we've peaked too soon, bud. I was like, I'm not quite ready for that. I'm like, I've got a few more years left in me before I hit that, surely. It's the stress of having two kids.
What's my excuse?
Not having two kids.
But yeah, it's been a very exciting journey to undergo for a first season. And I'm also kind of glad we're taking that small break between season 1 and season 2.
What we've outlined of what we want to do better already highlights that we've got a fairly good grasp of what we've identified we need to do better. I mean, largely the biggest thing is we like me especially, need to do more with the finding. I need to find some time to do more on this rather than just treating it exclusively as a just side project. Because I don't want to just treat it as a side project. I want it to be a main thing to move into to a degree. We've talked a lot about kind of what comes after we're done making gaming videos or directly or doing as much in that space. What comes next? And that's what we're trying to a degree establish with Upload, is that next. It's not the thing is, I think we've realized it's not the next step, it's actually the next platform. Upload, the ideas that we've started discussing, it isn't just the podcast. We want to create a whole network of stuff around that brand.
I think so. And I think for us, the real extra thing for me, like in my brain at the very least, is for example, when we get gear, so I'm going to use you for example right now because you've just been sent some absolutely lovely pieces of kit from Elgato. Yes, you're going to use them readily in your streams, like mechanically, but the actual being sent them kind of goes awash with your gaming audience. As a creator, my brain starts going, but how can I capitalize on this even more that I've just got this new piece of kit? Or like it's right here. I've got my really, really lovely camera that I now haven't used in about half a year. And I'm sitting here like, but what?
Remember that £1,000 microphone I still have in a drawer that I've not properly used?
Yeah, exactly. It's stuff like that. Can I get an avenue to use this? Can we do some fun, creative bits and pieces with all that stuff? We've sort of said one of the big things, kind of little sneak peek, but one of the big things we want to do next year is expand so that the podcast is almost an extension of some of the others of that channel and that network, that creative space that we want to create. And it's not that the podcast isn't going to be the prime focus, because it will most likely still be the prime focus, certainly for season 2 and probably well into beyond that. But we want to start working on some other bits around that, initially as satellite bits. Maybe the podcast will eventually become a satellite part of some greater things around it. But that's, I think, where we want to take this. And also, I think because we still have a lot of other projects and focuses for our own channels and projects, this is something that is going to be a long burn for us. But it's something that, hopefully in 5 years, we can kind of look at what we've been working on and go, yeah, this is pretty awesome. If you're coming here and re-listening to this episode after listening to episode 101 or episode 500, for some reason you're just catching us now somewhere in the future. One, how much older do we look in the current videos? Like how many grades do we? oh, soothsayer from the future, please warn us. Come back in time. No, it's like hopefully we have done that.
How many was too many?
It's also one of those things of, even at the state it is now, even with its viewership rate that we are at now, even with what we've created, I'm really happy with it. I love the format. I think
we've created a very niche community, but like it's nice that when we, even if it's only a couple of regulars or whatever, they're really keen about it. And I get the odd message from other creators saying, dude, I just went through your podcast and I love it. It's so refreshing. And I think ultimately, you know what, even if this had failed in terms of views and stuff, this has been my mental health is in a much better place because of this, because we get a chance to vent and talk shop and ramble, annoy our editors with all of the above. But this is, even if this is all it ever becomes or stays at, this is such a healthy experience. And I'd encourage other creators, if you've got a group of you together, that like, how do we have some self-therapy, some self-care, honestly, it's just talking about some of these things, just getting stuff off your chest and just discussing things. And also especially because I felt like a lot of the time there's no middle ground as a content creator. When things are going well, they're going really well. When they go bad, they go really bad. Like there's not a lot of kind of in between at times. And that's the struggle, because yo-yoing from peak happiness to utter despair and the stress and anxiety that comes with it is so not healthy. No way, Lionheart. That's not healthy. Yeah, I know. Shocker.
It's nice to see so many recurring faces as well in the audience.
See, it's nice to see a lot of people resonate with that, with the feeling of what it does. And
already having those, like when we get an email as well, the emails are like my favorite thing, because they're genuinely, people are coming to us with questions, even though we're not gurus, but it's like, I'm glad that people can pull from our advice in some regards, or learn little things. Just a weird update on that front is like, I found out that Spotify is now doing 16:9 thumbnails. So like you might actually see the normal YouTube thumbnails over on Spotify now. But like for us to not only utilize this to find new avenues and to create things and also talk about our stories, talk to friends and other creators about their stories, my hopes for season 2 is we can line up a few more guests. Like, we had some really good guests this season. I'd like a few more next season. I'd like to re-invite some of the previous guests because they were wonderful to talk to all the time. Like, it's been an absolute pleasure this year. It really, really has, and I'm looking forward to the next one for sure. And it feels really weird that we started this all the way back in May, and we're now sitting in November already. How fast has this year gone? The wheels of time have really snuck up on us this year, I think. But yeah, I'm getting all like, reminiscing already. Yeah.
It's gonna be odd like having a couple of like just empty Thursdays, at least the mornings of like what we do.
I'm sure we'll still fill them with meetings or sometime or streams. Yeah,
we have plans, we have schemes, guys. There's so much for season 2. Yeah, it's not going to be immediately like right in January. So you guys, we're gonna have a little breather. We're gonna have a little break. But yeah, we're kind of currently thinking kind of like end of Q1, similar to how we started this. To be honest, it gives us plenty of time. We're not going to put an exact date on it right now because it gives us flexibility and what we want to work with. Hopefully, as I said, like, can get a solid guest lined up. If you work in the space and you have enjoyed listening to this podcast and you feel like you've got something to contribute and discuss, or something to raise with us that you'd like to have a little bit of an open discussion about, please do, email us, get in contact, because we'd love to have some more guests on. It's great, obviously having the two of us go back and forth with kind of current and like trending issues and just things that we've run into. But what we really want to achieve with this is to really kind of lift the veil a little bit on the whole space as viewers that perhaps aren't either directly in the space, or if you are a creator in the space and you've had a question about like, what's it like for a marketing PR person within the space, or what's it like as an influencer manager or something like that. Let us know those sorts of questions or types of guests that you'd like to see us try and get on. And that's, that'll help us shape who we reach out to and try and arrange to get on.
With the final edge of our discussion here, who would you like, Lion? What would be like, it doesn't have to be an actual, you don't have to name someone directly, but if we could get like someone who did a certain job or a certain creator, who would you love to see on the podcast? Who would you love to invite and have a conversation with?
The person that runs the Nando's sponsorship. No.
Oh, cool.
For those of you who've been watching since the start, you'll appreciate that one. No. To be fair, the person that I would actually most like to have on, just because I think they've gone through lots of different roles within community, within influencer managing, within marketing, is actually the chap that I've told you about that I'm trying to reach out to. That guy, but I'm not gonna mention it because he probably doesn't watch this yet. I'm gonna leave that as a little teaser there. But basically, this is a chap that's worked within the games industry for many years. I've worked with him on and off for various projects, things from like early community management, influencer management, marketing, publishing, going off and setting up his own business and stuff. And also he has, every so often he's working on, I think, building his own full like flight simulator, like deck and control stuff, like doing the PCBs and all the wood framing for it. So I definitely want to like, I just want like a really like cozy episode of like, just sit down for an afternoon with insert this person.
Do you know who I would love? I don't know. I don't know if we could ever swing it, but I reckon we could if we meet this person in person, in some regard, whether it's a convention or otherwise. I'd love to get Harris Heller on.
Oh yeah.
I don't have any outreach with him right now at all. It's not someone that I've come across outside of being a fan of his content, but he's someone who's done similar things to what this podcast is about. His values very much align with what this podcast is.
Yeah. And he's also had a really interesting
career. He started as someone who made music with his wife on Vine. That's where his content creation career started. Then they moved over to the variations. He started doing gaming on Twitch, and now he runs the Senpai Gaming and the Harris Heller channels, and basically Stream Beats. He does a lot of things where he's obviously makes money from Stream Beats, and he's never going to hide that's a thing. But he's royalty free music for everything that creators do. He makes tech reviews for creator gear. He does a lot of product work for creators. Like, it's someone whose values very much align with what we do, has a lot of insight, speaks a lot with people like Dan Clancy. Would also be another great guest to have on the show at one point, would be Dan Clancy. However, I think if we start streaming on Twitch, that's another thing I'm also toying the idea with. So when the broadcasts go up on YouTube and Spotify, have a scheduled stream that goes out on a Twitch channel as well. For example, one of the only real benefits to something like Restream these days, now that you can multi-stream directly from OBS yourself with a plugin or Streamlabs or Stream Elements OBSs directly, the fact that Restreams multiple RTMPs is only real worth it if your PC isn't good enough. If it isn't, I recommend it as a platform. Actually, I've used it a lot. One of the things you can actually do is upload videos to it and schedule stuff to go live. It's like pre-recorded content is what I would do. What I'm toying with season 2 is when it goes live on Spotify, have a live stream that goes live as well on an upload because there's a podcast category.
I think we could get Dan Clancy on if in the next couple of years we pull off our great van trip to TwitchCon.
Yes, and if we made a video about that would be, I reckon
we've almost like got to make it like, almost like not quite like a challenge, but like there's got to be some adversity in there. So I almost wonder if we need to do some kind of like, we've bought a really old dodgy van that needs a bit of work doing to it first, and we obviously know nothing about. And maybe that could be a way to collaborate with some creators in the car space.
I have a minibus that constantly breaks down. Like, we'd just use that. So the Mercedes Sprinter, half minibus, half van, that would break down on the way. I guarantee it.
How good's your French? Merde.
Yes. Yeah. Je m'appelle Alexander, mais tout le monde m'appelle Alex is about all I remember. I have a GCSE in French, but it doesn't get past.
Où est la gare? Where's the train station? That's it. That's the sorrowful, pitiful estate of foreign languages in.
Je suis désolé. Je suis désolé.
In the UK, yeah.
Either way, if we don't break down until we hit the Netherlands, I think we'll be fine. Mainly because they're here. Their English is so good.
Gotta get lost in France a little bit.
That, or here's how we do it. If we didn't want to go with some cardio, we get someone else to drive for us, and we live podcast from the back of the van the entire time.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Less pressure as well. I think it would really. I've driven in France, but it would definitely screw with my brain after all these years of driving on the other side of the road. It doesn't actually take that long. Cat, stop scratching on the new carpet. You want freedom? Okay, I'll give you freedom, Cat.
Go outside into the rain. Be banished. Okay, this is now officially the best episode of the podcast because we've got a cat. But yeah, like live stream from the back of the van the entire. Oh, do you know what else would be quite cool? If, as well, when we got to TwitchCon,
the wheels fall off.
We parked the van nearby and just kept inviting people in to stream with us.
Yeah.
As a thing. Like, essentially it would be us outside of TwitchCon instead of being in it. But we just...
Come into our van, everybody. No, not like that.
Just quick interview. Like, do a thing. That could be real big brain. 30-minute interview. Every time it's like, we basically say, people come in as like, you're a creator. What is the most, like, the question is like, what is the most adverse? What's the thing that's adversely affecting you as a creator today the most? Like, boom. Who are you? Tell you something. Where can we find you? Blah, 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 get them out, sort of thing. That could be a really cool concept.
That could be really cool.
don't know how we finance this, but yeah.
No, this may be a few years down the line, guys. So join us for the random janky van tour.
Unless someone like, if you're from a company, say like Elgato, NZXT, any of those,
We will slap your logos all over that van.
yeah, Holy, do you want a Holy bus?
Yeah, they've wrapped some cars. Wrap this van.
We get a van, we get a minibus. Holy, you wrap it. We do a live stream podcast from the entire for the entire journey over, and then when we're there, we do 15-minute interviews, and each time people can walk away with a Holy, with like a sachet of Holy as well.
There, if it were Holy as well, there's also then the prep trip that we could podcast of getting to Germany first of all to get them to wrap it.
Oh God. And
There
the drive,
and back
and
again, the Hobbit's tale.
The drive would, instead of being from the UK to Rotterdam, would be Berlin to Rotterdam.
On
Us
the
in a
Autobahn,
bright,
right?
it was a bright yellow bus of the Autobahn with two guys podcasting in the back of it. Oh my God.
I'd be like, what's the speed we're at to? 140 and it's rattling.
It starts
Yeah.
rattling at 60. I don't know what you're on
Oh
about.
no. What speed do the wheels fall off? We'll find out on the next exciting episode of Upload.
Oh dear. Oh God. Oh, I don't. Yeah.
But so as you guys can tell, we've got some mental plans for the next, not just like the next few months,
very, very tame
for the next
plans.
few years, basically, of things we want to try and do. Like I definitely think, definitely the trip to TwitchCon needs to happen in some form or another, because I think that's going to be so much fun.
I need to look at booking tickets like already soon, because it's going to be May next year. They've already announced it's Rotterdam. I guarantee hotels are already starting to... I'm going to try and buy it in January, I think, once Christmas is out the way, because I want to be there again this year.
So for me, it's like I'm going to have to evaluate how the kids are and then work out what tribute I need to get my wife for a few days away. Because yeah, if that's possible this year, if not, because I mean we'll still have one that's under a year old, so that's a lot. We'll see. It maybe not this year, but hopefully the following year. I mean, even to be fair, Rotterdam, it would be a hell of a day, but I could probably do like a day trip
From airport to venue, it's about an hour from Schiphol, because it's the 20-minute train from Schiphol to Rotterdam Central, because really Amsterdam Schiphol Airport is closer to Rotterdam than it is Amsterdam.
Netherlands. Oh, you guys.
Netherlands. But yes, you just go that, and then it's like a straight train from Rotterdam Central to wherever the center is, which is about 40 minutes. So like you technically could door to door it. It'd be a long day though.
Good thing I'm sponsored by Holy.
Hey, yes, for
hopefully still will be by then.
At least at the time right now, you are.
At least right now I am.
Holy.
Please, Holy, please power me.
I need to buy some more Holy. I do. I'm out again. Final thing then on we've spoken about the van. What would be the craziest thing we could do with this podcast ever, do you think? What was the scenario? Like, let's like word bang a scenario together of like what is the
Sorry, you had me at word bang.
You know, I'm sticking with it. What would be the
big event, the
or the dream goal, of this? I have one that is going to be kind of sweet, not as in cool, but I think would be the best idea.
what's your purple thing on your hand? Sorry, totally.
Oh, this is a kind focus patch. It is basically a vitamin patch.
Yeah, cool. Reminds me of that Doc 2 episode where they had like patches for like things.
I've also got some sleep ones that have actually been helping. Like they're like slow release.
Crazy. You know what? I think the thing like it's a very broad goal, but it's also kind of tied into something that we've discussed. Not necessarily as part of Upload, but I kind of feel like maybe actually we could incorporate it, if it's something we both feel that we want to do, incorporate the kind of dream of a dedicated production space under the Upload umbrella. Because I feel like it's a strong brand for all of that, to be honest, that we could use. We've said, you know, our kind of like shared dream or kind of shared thing that we'd really like to get into is having that dedicated space to work in, not necessarily for all projects, but have that as a creative space, even a hub that we can work from, and potentially other creators can come and work in as well.
I would absolutely 100% have the ability for people to book, like, on certain days of the week, not every day, obviously, but I would be like, here's a free of charge booking day. But when the slots are gone, they're gone. But hey, you need a PC to start them. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the thing for me would be to like have that space, and within it have an actual dedicated in-person podcast set.
Oh God, yeah, that would be so cool.
Comfy sofas, comfy chairs, around like a nice chilled out kind of coffee table vibes, and use that as the hub. So that's kind of the evolution of it, where I'd love to see that, but also then use that as things, you know, we've talked about potential goals of trying to get more into the production side and being that interlinking company between like game devs and PR agencies wanting to do some kind of high production influencer, you know, in person, you know, even if it's them battling it out in a game or just an in-person event, like recording or something in between, or assisting their in-house team with something. But you know, the kind of like what's your unique take on it? It's like, well, we're creators in that space, so we kind of know how we think, and we've also had a fair few years of experience working with these companies, so we'd like to think that we've got a fair idea of how these companies think, and we want to bridge that, rather than typically, you know, most of it gets outsourced to a video production company that typically works in TV and film and stuff, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's obviously they've got far more technical experience, but I feel like we've got the social experience of working with creators and companies and what comes with that, because also a lot of it is that quite a lot of creators, you know, social meetups and stuff like that, sometimes it's quite a daunting thing, so kind of we've got experience of that ourselves, and we can know how to approach that in ways that makes everyone comfortable, and also just making it a bit more accessible to everyone. So that's also what I'd love to see us be able to do as well, use that as a hub for all things upload, Midgeband's World, Lionheart Productions, just all in one, because as well, we've sort of said, you know, what ultimately is the end goal, and I think that kind of both of us are kind of leaning that way, as that's what we'd like to lean towards, and kind of that's the natural evolution of the years that we put into creating content online, of like, ultimately we don't want to stop creating content online, but we want to move more into let's help everyone else create content, and how can we do that, and how can we, you know, no lie to it, how can we also make money doing that and succeed within that space?
That actually leads quite nicely onto what my goal would love to be. I'd love someone to eventually maybe come on this podcast, but to email us just out of the blue one day in the future and say, hey, or we'd probably be aware of them at this point if this ever was the case, but they've been following along, they've been a creator, they listened to what we said, and they got themselves a play button or got themselves Twitch partner or anything like that. That for me would be the moment we go, we did something right.
Something from what we've said, some advice has. I mean, the thing is, I know we have genuinely helped a lot of you guys already, because just the feedback we're getting is that it's so helpful and insightful. But yeah, to kind of see those tangible achievements reached and realized, that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to become that team, that production company, that thing, that being that helps and assists creators. As much as we have our visions for the direction of what we want to do, let us know what we can do as well to help you guys as creators. There's kind of another retrospect for looking back and also going into season 2. What can we do more of here on the podcast and outside of it to help you guys as creators? Like, what do you want to know?
What were the episodes you loved? Which episodes weren't you as happy? Like, which ones were we not as clear on? What could we go into again? Is there something you'd prefer as like a tutorial video?
Are there any bits of tech you want us to do a deeper dive into, or a specific review? What bits can we take further to assist you creating and making content? And how can we use this platform and this media setting that we've created with the podcast to help take you guys further? That's ultimately what we want to achieve with this, helping out as many creators as possible, just having a lot of fun along the way as well. Really frustrating the editors. Love you. A huge shout out to our editors for this year, for this season, because seriously, I think we've all learned so much doing this format and doing this production. But it's for me as well, kind of coming in, you already kind of had the established team coming in, like you've got such a solid team with you, working with you.
My one fatal flaw in life right now is that those two individuals, Nikki and Dan, are both not full-time employees of mine. Oh God, they're Christ. You know, it's like one of those things. I'm at this point as someone who runs a business, and I'm going, God, I wish I could give them healthcare benefits. It's like one of those things. I need these people around. I really intensely value them as both people to work with and as friends. God damn, I wish I could give them like paid days off rather than just saying, okay, please look after yourself, and being just kind of like, hopefully growing my YouTube channel, that will help soften that, although that's been a rough one this month. We're running the risk of this podcast going forever today, but I think that's kind of the unfortunate thing of the end of a season though as well, when we get to this point.
Yeah, there's lots of loose ends that we want to try and bring together.
Lots of talk about, lots of I think, but also it's like my brain's going, you're not going to have the chance to talk about this for a couple of months. Come on now, let's get all the conversations out. So at the risk of going on to, one final thing, because that's going to be a major change this year that I'm going into, not just in my my creator life, but in my life in the gaming industry, is after 4 years, I'm leaving Hearts of Iron now. Like, I don't have the play button here at the moment because it's being framed professionally, but I've got this is going to be my, this is the first DLC I worked on up until Gotterdammerung, the last one, and it feels so weird that...
You got that one wrong, saying it. Sorry.
Yeah, I did. So I got bullied a lot for accidentally saying Gotterdammerung a lot in videos.
Gotterdammerung. Amazing.
Because the English spelling of it has rang at the end, but in the German, Swedish, it's wrong. So it's Gotterdammerung instead of Gotterdammerung. It's the Wagner opera. And they're right, it's in German. So like we are the ones that are wrong. Then my throwback was, at least I didn't say it like an American and go, Gotterdammerung. It's far worse. Sorry, America.
Why did our viewership from America just disappear after that last podcast? I just don't know.
So I'm going to be, I'm excited to, I'm not leaving working with Paradox. I'm still working with them. I'm changing to, this will be announced by the time this is out, I'll be moving over to the Europa Universalis brand, and I'm going to be essentially again growing a brand's channel from scratch. So I'm sure I'll have a lot of new insights there. Like I helped get Hoy to 100k. Now I've got to try and help get Europa Universalis, which is Europa Universalis 4 is a 13-year-old game. So right now that's going to be
it's almost like you guys need a new game in that series.
I don't, maybe at some point. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, until that happens, I've got to try and grow a channel. There's so much going on. 2025 is going to be a really interesting year for us, for the podcast, and for everything. So
there might even be a new Total War game. No, bollocks.
I was going to say, do I have a laugh track on my pre-records? I don't.
Need one, yeah.
I need one. I've got a...
Do we need this bit clipped, though, for when CA do drop a surprise Total War game next year? And I'll be like,
Also, there's another thing, is like, sorry to keep extending the end of the podcast. If you're a viewer, I know that a lot of you follow us for our gaming content. We try not to talk about games too much until they're unavoidable, like Manor in this podcast. Is there a format that you would like us to do where we spoke more directly about gaming? Is it a case of, is one of the pieces of content you'd like to see, you have upload the creator podcast and then like log on the gaming podcast? I mean, we do these in recording blocks of 2. It would just be one upload, one thingy on that day.
Gaming news and chat, yeah.
Exactly, stuff like that. We're already talking about doing, maybe, because I also used to do gaming news shorts on my YouTube channel. I'm thinking of moving those to the upload channel. Again, talking about extra content. Is there something like that you'd like to see? But either way, at the risk of us going on for too long, you'll just have to catch us next time we upload.